Distinguished guests, welcome. In case of an emergency, either exit through those doors and out the front doors that you came in, or down this passage, down the stairs, and out the door. Because of COVID regulations, it is required that you keep your mask on at all times and that social distancing is kept. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
So, here we are.
Yes, Mr. Garson.
And this is what it looks like.
Yes.
Second Empire furniture, I observe. Well, I dare say one gets used to it in time.
Some do, some don't.
Are all the other rooms like this one?
How could they be? We cater for all sorts. Chinamen and Indians, for instance. What use would they have for a Second Empire chair?
And what use do you suppose I have for one? Do you know who I was? Oh, well, it's no great matter. And to tell the truth, I've had quite a habit about living among furniture that I didn't relish. And in false positions, too. A false position in a Louis Philippe dining room. You know the style? That had its points, so to speak. But bogus and bogus, so to speak.
And you'll find that living in a Second Empire drawing room has its points.
Really? Yes, I dare say, but I certainly did not expect this. You know what they tell us down there
What about?
about this residence?
Really, sir, how could you believe such cock and bull stories? Told by people who'd never set foot here, for of course, if they had.
Quite so. But I dare say, where are the instruments of torture?
The what?
Oh, the racks and the red-hot pincers and all the other paraphernalia?
You must have your little jokes, sir.
Yes, see, no, I was not joking. No mirrors, I notice. No windows either. Only to be expected. Nothing breakable either. But damn it all, they might have left me my toothbrush.
That's good. So you haven't yet got over your, what do you call it? Sense of human dignity? Excuse my smiling.
I'll beg you to be more polite. I quite realize the position I'm in, but I won't tolerate.
Sorry, sir. No offense meant. It's just that all our guests ask me the same questions. Silly questions, if you'll pardon me saying so. Where's the torture chamber? That's the first thing they ask. All of them. They don't bother their heads about the bathroom requisites, that I can assure you. But, after a while, once they've got their nerve back, they start on about their toothbrushes and whatnot. Good heavens, Mr. Garson. Can't you use your brains? What, I ask you, would be the point of brushing your teeth?
Yes, of course, you're right. And why should one want to look at oneself in a looking glass? But that bronze contraption on the mantelpiece, I'm sure that's another story. I'm sure there'll be times when I stare my eyes out at it. Stare my eyes out, you see what I'm saying? Alright, let's lay our cards out on the table. I can quite assure you that I'm very conscious of the position that I'm in. Shall I tell you what it feels like? A man's choking, drowning, sinking inch by inch till only his eyes are just above the water. And what does he see? A bronze atrocity by, what's the fellow's name? Barbe Dien? A collector's piece, as in a nightmare. That's the idea, isn't it? No, I suppose you're under orders not to answer any questions, and I won't insist. But don't forget, my man, I have a good notion of what's coming to me. So don't boast that you've caught me off my guard. I'm facing the situation. Facing it. So that's that. No toothbrush. No bed either, I notice. One never sleeps, I take it.
That's so.
Just as I suspected. Why sleep? Sort of drowsiness steals away at you, tickles you behind the ear, and you feel your eyes closing. So you lay down on the sofa, and in a flash, sleep flies away. Miles and miles away. And so you get up, rub your eyes, and start all over again.
Romantic, that's what you are.
Will you please keep quiet? I shan't make a scene, but I won't be sorry for myself. I'm facing this situation, as I said just now, facing it fairly and squarely. I won't have anything sneaking up from behind me before I have a chance to size it up. And you call that being romantic. So it comes to this. One never sleeps. Why bother sleep if one isn't sleepy? That stands to reason, doesn't it? But wait a minute. There's a snag somewhere. Something disagreeable. Why now should it be disagreeable? I see. It's a life without a break.
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean? Ah, I see. That's what's so beastly, so damn bad-mannered in the way that you stare at me. They're paralyzed.
What are you talking about?
Your eyelids. We move ours up and down, blinking we call it. It's like a small black shutter that clicks down and makes a break. Everything goes black and one's eyes are moistened. You can't imagine how refreshing it is. 4,000 little rests per hour. 4,000 little respites. So that's the idea, isn't it? I'm to live without eyelids? Oh, don't act a fool, you know what I'm saying. No eyelids, no sleep, it follows, doesn't it? But then, how shall I enjoy my own company? You see, I'm rather fond of teasing. It's like a second nature with me. And I don't tease nicely. I often tease myself. Plaguing myself, if you prefer, but I can't go on doing that without a break. Down there I had my nights. I always had good nights by a way of compensation, I suppose. With happy little dreams. It was just an ordinary field. I used to stroll in it. Is it daytime now?
Can't you see? The lights are on.
Ah, yes, I see it. It's your daytime. And, outside?
Outside.
Damn it, you know what I mean? Beyond that wall.
There's a passage.
And what lies at the end of the passage?
There's more rooms, more passages, and stairs.
What lies beyond that?
That's all.
What? Certainly you have a day off sometimes. Where do you go?
To my uncle's place. He's the head valet here. He has a room on the 3rd floor.
Yes, I could have guessed as much. So where's the light switch?
There isn't any.
What? Can't one turn off the lights?
Oh, the management can cut off the current any time they like. But I can't remember they're doing so on this floor. We have all the electricity we want.
And, suppose I took that contraption on the mantelpiece and dropped on the lamp here. It would go out. It would go out, wouldn't it?
You can't move it. It's too heavy.
You're right. It's too heavy.
Very well, sir. If you don't need me anymore, I'll be off.
What? You're going? Oh, but wait, that's a bell, isn't it? And if I ring, you're bound to come.
Well, yes, that's so, in a way. But I wouldn't trust it too much if I were you. There's something wrong with the wiring, and it doesn't always work.
It's working all right?
So it is. But I shouldn't count on it too much if I were you. It's capricious. Very well, I really must be going. Yes, sir?
No, never mind. Oh, wait. What's this?
Can't you see? An ordinary paper knife.
Are there any books here?
No.
Then what's the use of this? Very well. You can go. Hello?
Did you call, sir?
No.
This is your room, madam. If there's any information you require... Most of our guests have quite a lot to ask me, but I won't insist. Anyhow, as for the toothbrush, the electric bell, and that thing on the mantel shelf, this gentleman here can give you all the information you need to know as well as I can. We've had a little chat, him and me.
Where's Florence? Didn't you hear me? I asked you about Florence. Where is she?
I haven't an idea.
So that's how it works, is it? Torture by separation? Well, as far as I'm concerned, you won't get very far. Florence was a tiresome little fool, and I shan't miss her in the least.
I beg your pardon. Who do you suppose I am?
You? Why, the torturer, of course.
Ha! The torturer? Oh, that's too comic for words. So, you came in here and had a look at me and thought I was, one of the staff? Well, of course, it's that silly fellow's fault. He should have introduced us. A torturer indeed. Joseph Garson, a journalist, a man of letters by profession. And seeing as that we're in the same boat, might I ask, Mrs.
Not Mrs. I'm unmarried.
Right. Well, now that we've broken the ice, do you mind me asking, what exactly does a torturer look like? Evidently you've ideas on the subject.
They look frightened.
Frightened? How ridiculous. Of whom should they be frightened of? Their victims? Ha!
Laugh away, but I know what I'm talking about. I've often seen my face in the glass.
In the glass? Oh, how beastly of them. They've removed everything in the least resembling a glass. Well, anyhow, I can assure you I'm not afraid. Not that I take my position lightly. I realize its gravity only too well. But I'm not afraid.
That's your affair. Must you be here all the time, or do you take a stroll outside now and then?
The door is locked.
Oh, that's too bad.
I can quite understand that it bores you having me here, and, well, I too, I'd rather be alone. I'd like to set my life in order, and one does that best by oneself. But you should know I'm a quiet fellow. I don't move much. In fact, I'm a rather peaceful sort of fellow. So, if I may venture on a suggestion, we should both make a point of being extremely courteous to one another. That will ease the situation for us both.
I'm not polite.
Then I shall be polite for two.
You're breathing.
I beg your pardon?
You're breathing. You keep moving your mouth about all the time. It's grotesque.
So sorry, I wasn't aware of it.
That's just what I reproach you with. There you are! You talk about politeness, and yet you don't even try to control your face. Remember, you're not alone. You've no right to inflict the sight of your fear on me.
Well, what about you? Aren't you afraid?
What would be the use? There was some point of being afraid before while one still had hope.
Well, there's no more hope, but it's still before. We have yet begun to suffer.
That's so. Well, what's going to happen?
I don't know. I'm waiting.
No, don't look up. I know what you're hiding with your hands. I know you've no face left. What? But I don't know you.
I'm not the torturer, madam.
I never thought you were. I thought someone was trying to play a rather nasty trick on me. Is anyone else coming?
No, madam. No one else is coming.
Then we're to stay by ourselves? The three of us, this gentleman, this lady, and myself.
There's nothing to laugh about.
It's those sofas. They're so hideous. And just look how they've been arranged. It makes me think of New Year's Day when I used to visit that boring old aunt of mine, Aunt Mary. Her house was full of horrors like that. I suppose each of us has a sofa of his own. Is that one mine? But you can't expect me to sit on that one. It would be too horrible for words. I'm in pale blue and it's vivid green.
Would you prefer mine?
This claret-colored one, you mean? That's really sweet of you, but no, I don't think it'd be so much better. Well, we've got to take what comes to us, and I'll stick to the green one. The only one which might do at a pinch is that gentleman's.
Did you hear, Mr. Garson?
Oh, the sofa. So sorry. Please take it, madam.
Thanks. Well, as we're to live together, I suppose we better introduce ourselves. My name's Rigault, Estelle Rigault.
And I'm Inez Serrano. Very pleased to meet you.
Joseph Garson.
Do you require me any longer?
No, you can go. I'll ring when I want you.
You are very pretty. I wish we'd had some flowers to welcome you with.
Flowers, yes, I loved flowers. Only they'd fade so quickly here, wouldn't they? It's so stuffy. Oh, well, the great thing is to keep as cheerful as we can, don't you agree? Of course, you two are.
Yes, last week. But what about you?
I'm quite recent. Yesterday. As a matter of fact, the ceremony's not quite over. The wind's blowing my sister's veil all over the place. She's trying her best to cry. Come, dear, make another effort. That's better. 2 tears. 2 little tears are twinkling under that black veil. Oh, dear, what a sight Olga looks this morning. She's grabbing my sister's arm, helping her along. She's not crying, and I don't blame her. Tears always mess up one's face, don't they? Olga was my bosom friend, you know.
Did you suffer much?
No, I was only half conscious mostly.
Well, what was it?
Pneumonia. It's over now. They're leaving the cemetery. Goodbye, goodbye. Quite a crowd they are. My husband stayed at home, prostrated with grief, poor man. What about you?
The gas stove.
And you, Mr. Garson?
12 bullets through my chest. Sorry. I fear I'm not good company among the dead.
Don't. Please don't use that word. It's so crude and terribly bad taste, really. What's the good of worrying anyhow? Sometimes I feel we've never been so alive as now. If we've absolutely got to mention this state of things, I suggest we call ourselves... Wait, absentees. Have you been absent for long?
Yes, about a month.
Where are you from?
From Rio.
I'm from Paris. Have you anyone left down there?
Yes, my wife. Oh, there she is, standing at the entrance of the barracks. She's trying to peep between the bars, but they won't let her in. She suspects that I'm absent, but she does not yet know. She's leaving. She's wearing her black dress, so much the better. She won't need to change. She's not crying, but she never did cry much anyhow. It's a bright sunny days, and she's like a black shadow creeping down the empty street. Just those big, tragic eyes of her. Oh, how she got on my nerves.
Estelle.
Please, Mr. Garson.
Oh, so sorry.
You looked so far away. I'm sorry I disturbed you.
I was setting my life in order. You may laugh, but you do better to follow my example.
No need. My life's in perfect order. It tidied itself up nicely of its own accord, so I needn't worry about it now.
You imagine it's so simple as that? Oof. How hot it is in here. Do you mind if I...
How dare you? No, please don't. I loathe men in their shirt sleeves.
All right, then. Of course, I used to spend my night in the press room, and it was a regular black hole, so we never kept our coats on. Stifling hot it could be. Stifling it is. It's night now.
That's so? Olga's undressing. Yes, it must be after midnight. How quickly time passes on Earth.
Yes, after midnight. They've sealed up my room. It's dark. Pitch dark and empty.
They've strung their coats on the back of their chairs. The air stinks of men in cigar smoke. I used to like living among men in their shirt sleeves.
Well, in that case, our tastes differ. That's all it proves. What about you? Do you like men in their shirt sleeves?
Oh, I don't care much for men anyway.
Really, I can't imagine why they put us 3 together. It doesn't make sense.
What's that you said?
I'm looking at you two and thinking we're going to live together. It's absurd. I expected to meet old friends or relatives.
Yes, a charming old friend with a hole in the middle of his face.
Yes, him too. He danced a tango so divinely, like a professional. But why should we of all people be put together?
A pure fluke, I should say. They lodge people as they can in their order of coming. Why are you laughing?
Because you amuse me with your flukes, as if they left anything to chance.
I wonder now. Do you think we may have met each other at some time in our lives?
Never. I shouldn't have forgotten you.
Or perhaps we have friends in common. I wonder if you know the Dubois Seymours.
Not likely.
But everyone went to their parties.
What's their job?
Oh, they don't do anything. But they have a lovely house in the country and hosts of people visit them.
I didn't. I was a post office clerk.
Ah, yes, of course, in that case. And you, Mr. Garson?
We've never met. I've always lived in Rio.
Then you must be right. It's mere chance that has brought us together.
Mere chance? Then it's mere chance this room is arranged as we see it? It's an accident that that sofa on the right there is a livid green, and this one on the left is a wine red. Mere chance. We'll just try to shift the sofas and you'll see the difference quick enough. And what about that ornament on the mantelpiece? Do you think it's there by accident? And how about the heat here? What about that? I tell you, nothing was left to chance. Everything was set here for us.
But really, everything here's so uncomfortable. All in angles. I always loathed angles.
And do you think that I lived in a Second Empire drawing room?
So it was all fixed up beforehand.
Yes, and they've put us together deliberately.
Then it's not mere chance that you precisely are sitting opposite me. But what could possibly be the idea behind it?
Ask me another. I only know they're waiting.
I never could bear the ideas of anyone's expecting something from me. It always made me want to do just the opposite.
Well, do it. Do it if you can. You don't even know what they expect.
It's outrageous! So something's coming to me from you two? Something nasty, I suppose. There are some faces that tell me everything at once. Yours don't convey anything.
Look here. Why are we together? You've given us quite enough hints. You might as well come out with it.
But I know nothing. Absolutely nothing about it. I'm as much in the dark as you are.
We've got to know.
If only each of us had the guts to tell.
Tell what?
Estelle,
Yes?
what have you done? I mean, why have they sent you here?
I tell you, I haven't a notion. Not the foggiest. In fact, I'm wondering if there hasn't been some ghastly mistake. I mean, just think of the number of people who become absentees every day. Probably there's thousands and thousands, and probably they're sorted out by understrappers, you know what I mean. Stupid employees who don't know their job. So they're bound to make mistakes sometimes. Don't laugh. What about you? If they made a mistake in my case, they may have done the same with you. And you too. Anyhow, isn't it better to think we've gotten here by mistake?
Is that all you have to tell us?
What more is there to tell? I've nothing to hide. I lost my parents when I was a child, and I had my young brother to bring up. We were terribly poor, and when a friend of my people asked me to marry him, I agreed. He was very well off and quite nice. My brother was a very delicate child and required all sorts of attention, so really that was the right thing for me to do, don't you agree? My husband was old enough to be my father, but for 6 years we had a happy married life. Then, 2 years ago, I met the man I was fated to love. We knew at the moment we set eyes on each other. He asked me to run away with him, and I refused. Then I got pneumonia, and it finished me. That's the whole story. No doubt, by certain standards, I did wrong to sacrifice my youth to a man nearly 3 times my age. Do you think that could be called a sin?
Certainly not. Now tell me, do you think it is a crime for a man to stand by his principles?
Of course not. Surely no one could blame a man for that.
Oh, wait a bit. I had ran a pacifist newspaper, then war had broken out. Everyone was looking to me, wondering, will he dare? Well, I dared. I folded my arms and they'd shot me. Had I done anything wrong?
Wrong. On the contrary, you were
A hero! And what about your wife, Mr. Garson?
Oh, that's simple. I'd picked her up from the gutter.
You see.
Yes, I see. Look, what's the point of play acting? Trying to throw dust in each other's eyes? We're all tarred with the same brush.
How dare you?
Yes, we are criminals, murderers, all 3 of us. We're in hell, my pets. They don't make mistakes, and people aren't damned for nothing.
Keep quiet, for heaven's
In
sake.
hell! Damned souls, that's us, all 3!
Keep quiet. I forbid you to use such disgusting words.
A damned soul. That's you, my little plaster saint. And ditto our friend there, the noble pacifist. We've had our hour of pleasure, haven't we? There have been people who burned their lives out for our sakes, and we chuckled over it. So now we have to pay the reckoning.
Will you keep your mouth shut, damn it?
Oh, well. Ah! I know why they've put us 3 together.
I advise you to think twice before you say another word.
Oh, you'll see how simple it is. Childishly simple. Obviously, there are no physical torments here. You agree, don't you? And yet we're in hell. And no one else will come here. We'll stay in this room, the 3 of us, together, forever and ever. In short, there's someone absent here. The official torturer.
I'd noticed that.
It's obvious what they're after. An economy of manpower, or devil power if you prefer. It's the same idea as in the cafeteria where the customers serve themselves.
Whatever do you mean?
I mean, each of us will act as torturer of the 2 others.
No. I shall not be your torturer. I've no concern with either of you. So the solution's easy enough. Each of us must stay put in his or her corner, You there, and I here, like soldiers at our post. Also, we mustn't say a word. That shouldn't be too difficult. Each of us should have plenty of material for self-commenting. I think I could stay alone with my thoughts for 10 years for company.
Have I got to keep silent too?
Yes. That way we'll work out our salvation, looking into ourselves and never raising our heads. Agreed?
Agreed.
I agree.
Then, goodbye.
What a crowd in Whitefriars Lane. They've set trestles in a row, with a scaffold and the knife and a pail of bran below. Come on, you folks, to Whitefriars Lane. Come to see the merry show. He'd had a long day's work in hand, chopping heads off generals, princes, priests, and admirals, all the highest in the land. What a crowd in Whitefriars Lane.
Excuse me, have you a glass?
Ladies all
Any sort of glass, a pocket mirror will do.
with their heads high.
Even if you won't speak to me, you might lend me a glass.
Oh, don't worry, I have a glass in my bag. Oh, it's gone! Oof, they must have taken it from me at the entrance.
How tiresome.
What's the matter?
I feel so queer. Do you ever get taken that way? When I can't see myself, I begin to wonder if I really and truly exist. I pat myself to make sure, but it doesn't help much.
You're lucky. I'm always conscious of myself. In my mind. Painfully conscious.
Ah, yes, in your mind, but everything that goes on in one's head is so vague, isn't it? It makes one want to sleep. I've 6 big mirrors in my bedroom. There they are, I can see them. But they don't see me. They're reflecting the carpet, the settee, the window, but how empty it is, a glass in which I'm absent. When I talk to people, I always used to make sure there was one nearby in which I could see myself. I'd watch myself talking, and somehow it kept me alert, seeing myself as the others saw me. Oh dear, my eyeshadow. I'm sure I've put it on all wrong. No, I can't do without a looking glass forever and ever. I simply can't.
Suppose I try to be your glass. Come and pay me a visit, dear. Here's a spot for you on my sofa.
But
Oh, he doesn't count.
we're going to hurt each other? You said it yourself.
Do I look as though I wanted to hurt you?
One can never tell.
Much more likely you'll hurt me. Still, if I've got to suffer, it might as well be at your hands. Your pretty hands. Come and sit down. Come closer. Closer. Look in my eyes. What do you see?
Oh, I'm there, but so tiny I can't see myself properly.
But I can. Every last inch of you. Now ask me questions. I'll be as candid as any looking glass.
Please, Mr. Garson, sure our chatter isn't boring you.
Don't worry about him. As I said, he doesn't count. We're by ourselves. Ask away.
Is my eyeshadow all right?
Show. No, they're a bit smudgy.
I thought as much. Luckily, no one's seen me. I'll try again.
No, follow the crease of your eye. Here. Thank you. Close. There. That's quite good.
As good as when I came in.
Far better. Crueler. Your eyes look quite diabolical that way.
Good gracious, and you say you like it. Oh, how maddening it is not being able to see for myself. You're quite sure, Miss Serrano, that it's all right now.
Won't you call me Inez?
Are you sure it looks all right?
You're lovely, Estelle.
But how can I rely upon your taste? Is it the same as my taste? Oh, how sickening it all is, enough to drive one crazy.
I have your taste, my dear, because I like you so much. Now look at me. No, straight. Close your eyes. Now open them. So I'm not so ugly either. Am I not nicer than your glass?
Oh, I don't know. You scare me rather. My reflection never did that, of course. I knew it so well. Like something I had tamed. I'm going to smile, and my smile will sink down into your pupils, and heaven knows what it will become.
And why shouldn't you tame me? Listen, I want you to call me Inez. We must be great friends.
I don't make friends with women very easily.
Not with postal workers, you mean? Hello? What's that nasty red spot on your forehead? Oh, a pimple.
A pimple? Oh, simply foul. Where?
There. You know the way they catch larks? With a mirror? I'm your lark mirror, my dear, and you can't escape me. There isn't a pimple, not a trace of one. So what? Suppose the mirror started telling lies. Or suppose I covered my eyes as he is doing and refused to look at you. All of that loveliness of yours would be wasted on the desert air. Oh, no, don't be afraid. I can't help looking at you. I shan't turn my eyes away. And I'll be nice to you, ever so nice. Only you must be nice to me, too.
Are you really attracted by me?
Very much indeed.
But I wish he'd notice me too.
Of course. Because he's a man. You've won. But look at her, damn it! Don't pretend. You haven't missed a word of what we've said.
Quite so, not a word. I'd put my fingers in my ears, but your voice is thudded in my brain. Silly chatter. Now won't you leave me in peace? I've no concern with you.
No concern with me, perhaps. But what about this child? Aren't you interested in her? Oh, I saw it through your game. You got on your high horse just to impress her.
Leave me be. Someone's talking about me and I want to listen. And if it makes you feel any better, I've no concern with the child, as you call her.
Thanks.
I didn't mean it rudely.
You cad.
So that's that. You know, I begged you not to speak.
It's her fault she started. I didn't ask anything of her, and she came and offered me her glass.
So you say, but all the while you were making up to him, trying every trick to get his attention.
Well, why shouldn't I?
You're crazy, both of you. Don't you see where this is leading us? All right. Everyone, we must sit down again, quite quietly, and look at the floor. We must try to forget the others are there.
Forget about the others. How utterly absurd. I can feel you there in every pore. You can nail up your mouth, cut out your tongue, but you can't prevent your being there. Can you stop your thoughts? I can hear them ticking away like a clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock. And I'm certain you can hear mine too. It's all very well skulking away on your sofa, but you are everywhere. And every sound comes to me soiled because you've intercepted it on its way. Why, you've even stolen my face. You know it and I don't. And what about her? About Estelle? You've stolen her from me too. If she and I were alone, do you think she'd treat me the way she does? No, take your hands from your face. I shan't leave you in peace. That would suit your book too well. You would go on sitting there in a sort of trance, like a yogi. And even if I didn't see her, I'd feel it in my bones that she was making every sound, even the rustle of her dress, for your benefit. Throwing you smiles you didn't see? Well, I won't stand for that. I prefer to choose my hell. I prefer to look you in the eyes and fight it out face to face.
Have it your own way, then. I suppose we were bound to come to this. They knew what we were about, and were easy game. If they had put me in a room with men, men can keep their mouths shut. But it's no use wanting the impossible. So I attract you, little girl. It seems you're making eyes at me.
Don't touch me.
Why not? You might anyhow be natural. You know, I used to be crazy about women, and some were quite fond of me. So why bother about decorum and politeness and the rest of it? We're between ourselves, and presently we should be naked as newborn babes.
Oh, let me be.
As newborn babes. Well, I'd warned you anyhow. Gomez was spouting away in the press room, in the center of the press room, as usual, with all the pressmen listening in their shirt sleeves. I tried to listen, but it was difficult. Things on Earth move so quickly, you know. Couldn't you have kept your mouth shut for 2 minutes? Now it's over, and what he's thought of me has gone back into his head. All the same, suppose we had to see it through somehow. Naked as we were born. So much the better. I want to know whom I have to deal with.
You know already. There's
No.
nothing more to learn.
No, you've got it wrong. So long as each of us hasn't made a clean breast of it, you know, why they've damned himself or herself, then we know nothing. Nothing that counts. You, young lady, you should begin. If you're frank and we bring our specters out into the open, it might save us all from disaster, so out with it. Why?
I tell you, I haven't a notion. They wouldn't tell me why.
That's so. They wouldn't tell me either, but I have a pretty good idea. Perhaps you're shy of going first. Very well, I'll lead off. I'm not a very estimable person.
No need to tell us that. We know you were a deserter.
Let that be. It was only a side issue. I'm here because I treated my wife abominably. For 5 years. That's it. Naturally, she's suffering still. There she is. The moment I mention her, I see her. It's Gomez who interests me, and it's her that I see. Where's Gomez got to for 5 years? There. Oh, they've given her back my things. She's sitting by the edge of the window with my coat over her knees. The coat with 12 bullet holes. Quite a museum piece, that coat, and I used to wear it. Fancy. Now, won't you shed a tear, my love? Surely you'll squeeze one out at last. No, you can't manage it. Night after night, I came home blind, drunk, stinking of wine and women, and, well, she had set up for me, of course, but she never uttered a word of reproach. I'm fond of teasing, you understand. It's snowing outside. Won't you cry, confound you? Just those eyes. Oh, that woman was born a martyr, you know. A victim by vocation.
Why did you hurt her like that?
Because it was so easy. A word was enough to make her flinch, like a sensitive plant, but never a reproach. I'm fond of teasing. I watched and waited, but not a tear, not a protest. I picked her up from the gutter, you understand. Now her eyes are shut. She's feeling with her fingers for the bullet holes. What are you after? What do you expect? I tell you I regret nothing. The truth is, she admired me too much. Does that mean anything to you?
No. Nobody admired me.
So much the better. So much the better for you. I suppose all this strikes you as very vague. All right. Here's something you can get your teeth into. One night, I had brought a half-caste girl to stay in our home. My wife had slept upstairs. She must have heard everything. And as she is an early riser, and I and the girl laid in bed late, she served us our morning coffee.
You brute!
Yes, a brute, but a well-beloved brute. No, nothing. It's only Gomez, and he's not talking about me. What was I saying? Yes, a brute. Why else should I be here? Your turn.
Well, I was what some people down there called a damned bitch. Damned already, so it's no surprise being here.
Is that all you have to say?
No. There was that affair with Florence. A dead man's tale with 3 corpses to it. He'd start then, she and I. So there's no one left. I've nothing to worry about. It was a clean sweep. Only that room. I still see it now and then. Empty with the doors locked. No, they've just unlocked them. To let. It's to let? There's a notice on the door. No, that's too ridiculous.
3 deaths, you said?
3.
1 man and 2 women?
Yes.
Well. Did he kill himself?
He? No, he hadn't the guts for that. Still, he'd every reason to. We'd led him a dog's life. As a matter of fact, he was ran over by a tram. A silly sort of end. I was living with him at the time. He was my cousin.
Was Florence fair?
Fair? You know, I don't regret a thing. Still, I'm not so very keen on telling you the tale.
Very well. So you grew sick of him.
Quite gradually. All sorts of little things used to get on my nerves. For instance, he would make this noise when he was drinking. A sort of gurgle. Trifles like that. He was rather pathetic, really. Vulnerable. Why are you laughing?
Because I, anyhow, am not vulnerable.
Don't be too sure. I crept inside of her skin. She saw the world through my eyes. And when she left him, I had her on my hands. We shared a bed sitting room at the other end of town.
And then?
Then that tram did its job. I used to remind her every day, yes, my pet, we killed him between the two of us. I'm rather cruel, really.
So am I.
No, you're not cruel. It's something else.
What?
I'll tell you later. When I say I'm cruel, I mean I can't get on without making other people suffer. Like a live coal in others' hearts. When I'm alone, I fizzle out. For 6 months, I flamed away in her heart till there was nothing left but a cinder. Then, one night, she got up and turned on the gas while I was asleep. Then she crept back into bed. So now you know.
Well, well.
Yes, what's in your mind?
Oh, nothing. Just say it's not a pretty story.
Obviously, but what matter?
As you say, wouldn't matter. Your turn. What have you done?
As I told you, I haven't a notion. I rack my brain, but it's no use.
All right. Then we'll lend you a hand. That fellow with the smashed face. Who was he?
Who do you mean?
You know quite well. That man you were so afraid of seeing when you came in.
Oh, him. A friend of mine.
Then why were you so scared of him?
That's my business, Mr. Garson.
Did he shoot himself on your account?
Of course not. How absurd you are.
Then why should you have been so afraid? He blew his brains out, didn't he? That's how his face got smashed.
Please don't go on.
Oh, because of you. Because of you.
He shot himself because of you.
Leave me alone. It's not fair bullying me like that. I want to go. I want to go.
Go if you can. Personally, I ask for nothing better. Unfortunately, the doors are locked.
You're hateful, both of you.
Yes, hateful, that's the word. Now get on with it. That man who killed himself on your account. You were his mistress, eh?
Of course he was. And he wanted to have her all to himself. That's so, isn't it?
He danced the tango like a professional, but was as poor as a church mouse. That's right, isn't it?
Was he poor or not? Give a straight answer.
Yes, he was poor.
Ah, so you had your reputation to keep up. One day he implored you to run away with him and you laughed in his face.
That's it, you laughed at him, and so he killed himself.
Did you used to look at Florence in that way?
Yes.
You're wrong, both of you. He wanted me to have a baby, so there.
And you didn't want one?
I certainly didn't. But the baby came worse luck. We went to Switzerland for 5 months, and no one knew anything. It was a girl. Roger was with me when she was born. It pleased him to no end having a daughter. It didn't please me.
And then?
There was a balcony overlooking the lake. I brought a big stone. He could see what I was up to, and he kept on shouting, "Estelle, for God's sake, don't!" I hated him then. He saw it all. He was leaning over at the balcony, and he saw the rings spreading on the water.
Yes. And then?
That's all. I came back to Paris, and he did as he wished.
You mean he blew his brains out?
It was absurd of him, really. My husband never suspected anything. Oh, how I loathe you.
Nothing doing. Tears don't flow in this place.
I'm a coward, a coward. If you knew how I hate you.
Poor child. So the hearing's over, but there's no need to look like a hanging judge.
A hanging judge. Oh, what I'd give to look at myself in a glass. Oh, how hot. So sorry.
Don't bother. You can stay in your shirt sleeves as things are.
Just so. You mustn't be angry with me, Estelle.
I'm not angry with you.
What about me? Are you angry with me?
Yes.
Well now, Mr. Garson, seems you have us in the nude, all right. Do you understand things any better for that?
I wonder. Yes, perhaps a trifle better. Now, suppose we start trying to help each other.
I don't need help.
Oh, Inez, they've laid their snare damn cunningly, like a cobweb. If you make any movement as you so much raise your hand to fan yourself, Estelle and I feel a little tug. Alone, none of us can save himself or herself. We're linked together inextricably. So, you can take your choice. Hello? What's happening?
They've let it. The windows are wide open and there's a man sitting on my bed. My bed, if you please. They've let it. Let it. Oh, step in. Make yourself at home, you brutes. Oh, there's a woman too. She's walking up to him, putting her hands on his shoulders. Damn it, why don't they turn the lights on? It's getting dark. Now he's going to kiss her and pitch black. I can't see a thing, but I can hear them whispering. Is he going to make love to her on my bed? But that's... What's that she said? That it's noon and the sun is shining. I must be going blind. Blacked out. I can't see or hear a thing. So I'm done with the earth, it seems. No more alibis for me. I feel so empty, desiccated, really dead at last. Everything of me is here, in this room. What's that you said? Something about helping me, wasn't it?
Yes,
Helping me to do what?
to defeat their devilish tricks.
And what do you expect me to do in return?
Oh, to help me. Inez, just a spark of human feeling.
Human feeling. That's beyond my range. I'm rotten to the core.
And what about me? All the same, suppose we try.
It's no use. I'm all dried up. I can't give and I can't receive. How could I help you? A dead twig ready for the burning. Florence was fair.
You do realize that that young woman is fated to be your torturer.
Perhaps I've guessed it.
It's through her they'll get you. Me, I'm different. I'm aloof. I pay no mind to her. Suppose you tried to...
Yes.
It's a trap, Inez. They're watching you to see if you fall into it.
I know. And you're another trap. Do you think they haven't foreknown every word of what you'd say? And of course there's a whole nest of pitfalls that we can't see. Everything here's a booby trap. But what do I care? I'm a pitfall too. For her, of course, and perhaps I'll catch her.
You won't catch anything, Inez. We're chasing each other in a vicious circle like horses in a roundabout. That's all a part of their plan, of course. Drop it, Inez. Open your hands and let go of everything, or you'll bring disaster on all three of us.
Do I look the sort of person who lets go? I know what's coming to me. I'm going to burn, and it's going to last forever. Do you really think I'll let go? I'll catch her. She'll see you through my eyes as Florence saw that other man. What's the point of trying to enlist my sympathy? Yes, I assure you I know everything, and I can't feel sorry, not even for myself. A trap. And don't I know it, that I'm in one too, up to the neck, and there's nothing to be done about it? And if it suits their book, so much the better.
But I, anyhow, can feel sorry for you too. And as we're naked, I can see right through to you, right into your heart. There's one link between us. Do you really think I'd wish to hurt you? I'm all dried up too, but for you, I can still feel pity.
Don't. I hate being pawed about. And keep your pity for yourself. Don't you forget, Garson, that there are traps for you too here in this room, all nicely set for you. You'd do better to watch your own interests. But if you leave us in peace, this child and me, I'll see I do you no harm.
Very well.
Please, Garson.
What is it?
You can help me anyhow.
If you want any help, apply to her.
I implore you, Garson. You gave me your promise, didn't you? Help me quick. I don't want to be left alone. Olga's taken him to a cabaret.
Taken whom?
Peter. Oh, now they're dancing together.
Who's Peter?
Such a silly boy. He called me his glancing stream. Just fancy. He was terribly in love with me. She's persuaded him to come out with her tonight.
Do you love him?
They're sitting down now. She's puffing like a grampus. What a fool the girl is to insist on dancing, but I dare say she does it to reduce. No, of course I don't love him. He's only 18. I'm not a baby snatcher.
Then what does it matter? What difference does it make?
He belonged to me.
Nothing on earth belongs to you anymore.
I tell you, he was mine. All mine.
Yes, he was yours once. But now, try to touch him. Try to make him hear. Olga can touch him. Talk to him all she likes. That's so, isn't it? She can squeeze his hands, rub herself up against him.
Yes, look! She's pressing her great fat chest against him, puffing and blowing in his face. Oh, my poor little lamb, can't you see how ridiculous she is? Why don't you laugh at her? Oh, once I'd only have to glance at her and she'd have slunk away. Is there really nothing? Nothing left of me on earth?
Nothing. Nothing is left of you on earth. Not even a shadow. All that you own is here. Would you like that paper knife? Or that ornament on the mantelpiece? That blue sofa's yours. And I, my dear, am yours forever.
You mine? That's good. Well, which one of you two would dare to call me his glancing stream, his crystal girl? You know too much about me. You know I'm rotten through and through. Peter, dear, think of me. Fix your thoughts on me and save me. All the time you're thinking my glancing stream, my crystal girl. I'm only half here. I'm only half wicked, and half of me is down there with you, bright and clean and crystal clear as running water. Oh, just look at her face, all scarlet like a tomato. No, it's absurd. We've laughed at her together, you and I, often and often. What's that tune? I always loved it. Yes, the St. Louis Blues. All right, dance away. Garson, I wish you could see her. You'd die of laughing. Only she'll never know I see her. Yes, Olga, I see you with your hair all... Anyhow, when you do look like a dope, my dear. Oh, now she's treading on his toes. It's a scream. Hurry up, quicker, quicker, do keep time. He's bundling her up, dragging her along. It's too ghastly. He always said I was so light. He loved to dance with me. I tell you, Olga, I can see you. No, she doesn't care. She's dancing through my gaze. Oh, what's that? Poor dear Estelle, don't be such a humbug. You didn't even shed a tear at the funeral. She has the nerve to talk to him about poor dear Estelle. How dare she discuss me with Peter? And now then, keep time. She never could dance and talk at once. What's that? No. No. Don't tell him. Please don't tell him. You can have him. You can do what you like with him, but don't tell him about that. All right. You can have him now. Isn't it foul, Garson? She's told him everything about Roger, my trip to Switzerland, the baby. Poor Estelle wasn't exactly... No, I wasn't exactly true enough. He's looking grave, shaking his head, but he doesn't seem so very much surprised, not what one would expect. Keep him, then. I won't haggle with you over his long eyelashes, his pretty girlish face. They're yours for the asking. His glancing stream, his crystal. Well, the crystal shattered into bits. Poor Estelle, dance, dance, but do keep time. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, what I wouldn't give just to go down to earth for one moment and dance with him again. The music's growing fainter. They've turned down the lights as they do for the tango. Why are they playing so softly? Louder, please. I can't hear. It's so quiet. I can't hear a thing. all over. It's the end the earth has left me. Don't turn from me, please. Take me in your arms.
Now then, Garson.
If you want help, speak to her.
Don't turn from me, please. You're a man, aren't you? And surely I'm not such a fright as all that. Everyone says I've lovely hair, and after all, a man killed himself on my account. Listen, you have to look at something, and there's nothing to look at except the sofas and that awful ornament in the table. Surely I'm better than a lot of stupid furniture. Listen, I've dropped out of their hearts like a little sparrow fallen from its nest. So gather me up, dear, and fold me to your heart. You'll see how nice I can be.
I tell you, it's to that lady you should speak to.
To her, but she doesn't count. She's a woman.
Oh, I don't count. Is that what you think? Oh, my poor little sparrow fallen from its nest. You've been sheltering in my heart for ages, though you didn't realize it. No, don't be afraid. I'll keep looking at you forever and ever, without a flutter of my eyelids, and you will live in my gaze like a mote in a sunbeam.
A sunbeam, indeed. Don't talk such rubbish. You've tried that trick before, and you should know it doesn't work.
Estelle, my glancing stream, my crystal.
Your crystal? It's grotesque. Everyone knows by now what I did to my baby. The crystal's shattered, but I don't care. I'm just a hollow dummy, and all that's left of me is on the outside. But it's not for you.
Come to me, Estelle. You shall be whatever you like. A glancing stream, a muddy stream. And deep down in my eyes, you'll see yourself just as you like to be.
Oh, leave me in peace. You haven't any eyes. Oh, damn it. Isn't there anything I can do to get rid of you? I've an idea. There.
Garson, you shall pay for this.
So it's a man you need.
Not any man. You.
No humbug now. Any man would do your business. As it just so happens, I'm here. You want me. But you should know, I'm not really your sort at all. I'm not some young nincompoop, and I don't dance the tango.
I'll take you as you are, and perhaps I shall change you.
I doubt it. I've other things to think about.
What things?
They wouldn't interest you.
I'll sit on your sofa and wait for you to take some notice of me. I promise not to bother you at all.
That's right. Fawn on him like the silly bitch you are. Grovel and cringe. And he hasn't even good looks to commend him.
Don't listen to her. She has no eyes, no ears. She's nothing.
I'll give you what I can. It shan't amount to much. I can't love you. I know you too well.
Do you want me anyhow?
Yes?
I ask no more.
In that case,
Estelle Garson, you must be going crazy. You're not alone. I'm here too.
of course, but what matter?
Under my eyes, you couldn't do it.
Why not? I often undressed with my maid looking on.
Let her be. Don't you paw her with your dirty man's hands.
Take care. I'm no gentleman, and I've no compunction about striking a woman.
But you promised me. You promised. I'm only asking you keep your word.
Why should I, considering you were the first to break our promise?
Very well. I'm the weaker party here, 2 against 1. But don't forget, I'm here, and I'm watching. I shan't take my eyes off you. Garson, when you're kissing her, you'll feel them boring into you. Yes, make love and get it over with. We're in hell. My time will come.
Now then, your lips. Give me your lips.
Really, but didn't I tell you not to pay any attention to her?
You've got it wrong. It's Gomez. He's back in the press room. The windows are shut. It must be winter down there. 6 months since Well, I warned you I'd be absent-minded sometimes, didn't I? They're shivering. They've kept their coats on. Funny they should be feeling so cold when I feel so hot. Oh, it's Gomez. This time he's talking about me.
Is it going to last long? You might at least tell me what he's saying.
Nothing. Nothing worth repeating. He's a swine, that's all. A goddamn bloody swine. Estelle, we must come back to ourselves. Will you love me?
I wonder now.
Well, will you trust me?
What a quaint thing to ask, considering you'll be under my eyes all the time, and I don't think I've much to fear from Inez so far as you're concerned.
Obviously, I was thinking of another kind of trust. Oh, talk away, you swine. I'm not there to defend myself. Estelle, you must give me your trust.
Oh, what a nuisance you are. I'm giving you my mouth, my arms, my whole body, and everything could be so simple. My trust. I haven't any to give, I'm afraid, and you're making me terribly embarrassed. You must have something pretty ghastly on your conscience to make such a fuss about my trusting you.
They shot me.
I know, because you refused to fight. Well, why shouldn't you?
Well, I didn't exactly refuse. I must say, he makes a good case against me, but he never says what I should have done instead. Should I have gone to the general and said, "General, I decline to fight"? Oh, a mug's game. They would have promptly locked me up. But I wanted to show my colors. My true colors. I wasn't going to be silenced. Do you understand? So, I took a train to the frontier.
Where were you trying to go?
To Mexico. I meant to launch a pacifist newspaper down there. Well, why don't you speak?
What could I say? You acted quite rightly as you didn't want to fight.
Right? But is that my real reasons? I thought it all out. I wanted to make a stand, but was that my real motive?
Exactly. That's the question. Was that your real motive? No doubt you argued it out with yourself. You weighed the pros and cons. You came up with good reasons for what you did. But fear and hatred and all the dirty little secrets one keeps dark, they're instincts too. So, carry on, Mr. Garson, and try to be honest with yourself for once.
Oh, do you think I need you to tell me that? Night and day, I paced myself from door to window, from window to door. I pried into my heart. I sleuthed myself like a detective. By the end of it, I felt as if I'd given my whole life to introspection. But I always harked back to one thing certain, that I had acted as I did. I took the train to the frontier. But why? Why? Finally, I thought, my death will settle it. If I face death courageously, then I'll prove I'm no coward.
And how did you face death?
Miserably, rottenly. Oh, it was only a physical lapse. It would happen to anybody. I'm not ashamed of it. It's just that everything's been left in suspense forever. Come here, Estelle. I want you to look at me. I want to feel someone's eyes on me while they're talking about me on Earth. I like green eyes.
Green eyes. Just hark to him. And you, Estelle, do you like cowards?
If you knew how little I care. Coward or hero, it's all one. Provided he kisses well.
Oh, there they are. Slumped in their chairs, sucking at their cigars. Bored they look. Half asleep. They're thinking, Carson's a coward. But only vaguely, dreamily. One's got to think of something, and they've decided that chap Garson was a coward. Those dear friends of mine. In 6 months' time, they'll be saying cowardly as that skunk Garson. Oh, God, you're lucky, you two. No one on earth is left to give you another thought, but I am long in dying.
What about your wife, Mr. Garson?
Oh, didn't I tell you? She's dead.
Dead.
Yes, just now. About 2 months ago.
Of grief?
What else should she die of? Well, you see, the war is over. My wife is dead. And I've carved out my place in history.
My darling, please. Look at me. Touch me there. Right there. That's better. Don't move. Why trouble with those men are thinking? They'll die off one by one. There's only me. Now.
Yes, they'll be forgotten, but others will come along to carry on my legacy. I've let my faith in their hand. They're passing judgment on my life without bothering me about it, and they're right. I'm locked out. Dead. Dead and done with. A back number.
Garson.
Still there? Now listen, I want you to do me a service. Don't shrink away. I know you're not used to people asking you for help, but think of it this way. 1,000 of them are proclaiming that I am a coward, but what do numbers matter? If there's one person to quite positively say that I am not a coward, that I didn't run away, that I'm not the sort who runs away, that I'm brave and decent and the rest of it, well, that one person's faith could save me. Estelle, if you'll have that faith in me, then I shall love you and cherish you forever. Well, Estelle, will you?
Oh, my dear silly man, do you think I could love a coward?
But just now you said...
I was only teasing you. I like men, my dear, who are real men, with tough skin and strong hands. You haven't a coward's chin, or a coward's hair, or a coward's voice, or a coward's hands. And it's for your hands, your chin, your voice, I love you.
Do you mean this, Estelle? Do you really mean this?
Shall I swear it?
I should snap my fingers at them all. All those down there and in here. Estelle, together we shall climb out of hell. What's that?
But do you really think she means a word of what she says? How can you be such a simpleton? Estelle, am I a coward? As if she cared a damn either way.
Inez, how dare you? Don't listen to her. If you want me to have faith in you, you must begin by trusting me.
That's right, that's right. Trust away. She wants a man. For that much you can trust her. She wants a man's arm round her waist, a man's scent, a man's eyes glowing with desire. And that's all she wants. She'd assure you you were God Almighty if she thought I'd bring you pleasure.
Well, Estelle, is that true? Tell me, is it true?
What do you want me to say? How maddening it is having to answer questions one can't make head or tail of. Anyhow, I'd love you all the same, even if you were a coward. Isn't that enough?
You disgust me. Both of you.
What are you up to?
I'm going.
You won't get far, the door is locked.
Then I shall make them open it.
Please, please.
Oh, don't worry, my pet, the bell doesn't work.
I tell you they shall open it. I can't endure this any longer. I'm through with you both. Get away from me. I won't let myself be bogged down in your eyes. They're soft and slimy like a quagmire, like an octopus.
I beg you, please. I beg you not to leave me. I won't do anything. I won't be a bother at all. I daren't be left alone with Inez now she's shown her claws.
Take care. I never asked you to come here.
Oh, how mean you are. Yes, it's quite true you're a coward.
Well, well, my little sparrow fallen from its nest. I hope you're satisfied now. You spat in my face playing up to him, and we had a little tiff on his account. But he's going, and what a good riddance it will be. We two women will have the place to ourselves.
You won't gain anything. If that door opens, I'm going too.
Where?
Anywhere, as far from you as I can.
Open the door! Open, blast you! I tell you, I shall endure anything. Your red-hot pincers and molten lead, your racks and prongs and garrotes, all your fiendish gadgets, everything that burns and tears and flays. Anything would be better than this agony of mind. This creeping pain that gnaws and fumbles and caresses one, but never hurts quite enough. I tell you, I shall endure anything. Now will you open the door? Ah!
Well, Garson, you're free to go.
Now I wonder why that door just opened.
What are you waiting for? Hurry up and go.
I shall not go.
And you, Estelle? So what? Which shall it be? Which of the three of us will leave? The barrier's down, why are we waiting? But what a situation! It's a scream! We're inseparables!
Inseparables. Garson, come quick, lend a hand. We'll push her out and slam the door on her. That'll show her a lesson.
Estelle, I beg you, let me stay. I won't go. I won't
Leave
go.
her
Not
be.
You're crazy. She hates you.
It's because of her that I'm staying here.
because of me. Very well, shut the door. It's 10 times hotter in here since it opened. Because of me, you said.
Yes. Because you, anyhow, knows what it means to be a coward.
Yes, I know.
And you know what wickedness is. and shame and fear and the rest of it. There were nights when you peered into your heart, into the deepest parts. What you saw there made you faint with horror. And the next day you got up and you didn't know how to interpret the horror you witnessed the night before. Yes, you know what evil costs. And when you call me a coward, you know from experience what that means. That's so, isn't it?
Yes.
So, it's you whom I have to convince. You are of my kind. Oh, do you really think I meant to go? Oh no, I couldn't leave you here gloating over my defeat, with all those thoughts of me running in your head.
Do you really wish to convince me?
That is the one and only thing I wish for now. You know, I can't hear them any longer. Probably means they're through with me for good and all. So that's that. The curtain's down and nothing is left of me on earth. Not even the name of coward. So you two are the only ones left to give thought to me. She doesn't count. It's you who hate me, and you who, if you'll have faith in me, then I'm saved.
It won't be easy. Have a look at me. I'm a hard-headed woman.
I'll give you all the time that's needed.
Yes, we've loads of time in hand. All time.
So, every man has a leading motive in life, that's so. Well, I could give a damn for wealth or for love. I aimed at being a real man. A tough, as they say. I staked everything on the same horse, so can one be considered a coward when one's deliberately courted danger at every turn? And can one's life be judged by a single action?
Why not? For 30 years you dreamt you were a hero and condoned 1,000 petty lapses. For a hero, of course, can do no wrong. An easy method, obviously. But then a day came when you were up against it. The red light of real danger. And you took the train to Mexico.
Dreamt, you said? No, it was no dream. When I made that choice deliberately. A man is what he wills himself to be.
Prove it. Prove it was no dream. It's what one does and nothing else that shows the stuff one's made of.
But I died too soon. I wasn't allowed time to do my deeds.
One always dies too soon or too late. And yet at that moment one's whole life is complete, with a line drawn neatly under it, ready for the summing up. You are your life and nothing else.
What a poisonous woman you are, with an answer for everything.
Oh, now then, don't lose heart. It shouldn't be so hard convincing me. Come on, man, rake up a few arguments. Wasn't I right when I said you were vulnerable? Now you're going to pay the price. And what a price! You're a coward, Garson, because I wish it. I wish it, you hear? I wish it! And yet just look at me. See how weak I am. A mere breath on the air, a gaze observing you, a formless thought that thinks you. They're open now, those big hands, those coarse man's hands. But what do you hope to do? You can't throttle thoughts with hands. So you've no choice. You must convince me. You're at my mercy.
Garson,
What?
revenge yourself.
How?
Kiss me, darling, then you'll hear her squeal.
That's true. Inez, I may be at your mercy, but you're at mine too.
Oh, you coward, you weakling, running to women to console you.
That's right, Inez, squeal away.
Oh, what a lovely pair you make. Oh, if you could see his big paw splayed out on your back, rucking up your skin and creasing the silk. But be careful, he's perspiring. His hand will leave a blue stain on your dress.
Squeal away, Inez, squeal away. Hug me tight, darling, tighter still. That'll finish her off, and a good thing, too.
She's right, Garson. Carry on with it. Press her till you feel your bodies melting together. A lump of warm, throbbing flesh. Love's a grand solace, isn't it, my friend? Deep and dark as sleep. But I'll see you don't sleep.
Don't listen to her. Press your lips to mine. Oh, I'm yours, yours, yours.
Well, what are you waiting for? Do as you're told. What a lovely scene. Coward Garson holding baby killer Estelle in his manly arms. Make your stakes, everyone. Will the coward Garson kiss the lady, or won't he dare? What's the betting? I'm watching you. Everyone's watching. I'm a crowd all on my own. Do you hear the crowd, Garson? Do you hear the muttering? Coward, coward, coward! You can't escape. I'll never let you go. What do you hope to get from her silly lips? Forgetfulness? I shan't forget you. It's I you must convince. So come to me. I'm waiting. Come along now. See how obedient he is? Like a well-trained dog coming when his mistress calls. You can't hold him, and you never will.
Will night never come?
Never.
And will you always see me?
Always.
This bronze. Yes. Now's the moment that I realize I am in hell. Oh, they knew everything. They knew I'd be standing here stroking this thing of bronze with all those eyes intent on me, devouring me. What? Only 2 of you? Oh, I thought there were more. Many, many more. So this is it? This is hell. Oh, I never would have guessed it. Do you remember all the things we were told about the torture chambers and the fire and brimstone and the burning marl? Old wives' tales. There's no need for red-hot pokers. Hell is other people.
My darling, please.
Get away from me. I can't love you while she's between us.
In that case, I'll stop her watching.
Why, you crazy creature, what do you hope to do? You know quite well I'm dead.
Dead?
Dead. 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 Knives, poison, ropes, all useless. It has happened already, don't you understand? Once and for all. So here we are. Forever.
Forever? My God, how funny! Forever!
Forever. Forever. Ever. Well. Let's get on with it.